Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going through the March edition of Artists and Illustrators with a nice colourful front cover, as you can see, and I'm using the Readly app as usual. If this is your first time watching this video, these videos are not sponsored by Readly, but there is a link in my description for the app if you're interested in exploring all the magazines that they have on their site, because they have tons of magazines, not just art magazines but of all different genres, and you can have a whale of a time flicking through tons of magazines for the cost of probably one magazine. So link in the description, and my link will should give you 30 days free, so you can try it out for 30 days. So let's get on with the flip through. I hope you're all doing well. I'm just going to change the view, so you can change the view when you're looking at the magazines from this view, and then you click the yellow icon at the top there and it will just change it to the single page view. We'll just flip past that. Contents. Yeah, the evenings are getting lighter, which is nice. I like it when the evenings, so it's light, so like now I'm recording this video, it's like 7:30 in the morning and it's nice and light outside, and then it hasn't been getting dark until around 6-7 o'clock. So I think when it starts to get dark around 7-8 o'clock, I think that's a nice time for it to get dark, because then it's like you can wind down. I mean, the perks to it getting dark later, so like around 10-11 o'clock at night in the summer, is that you probably get more things done than you would when it gets dark earlier, because then you feel like when it gets dark early you feel like, you know, it's time to go to bed basically or it's time to relax. So, and then in the summer when it's still light, you feel like, oh, I've still got all this time to get all this stuff done. That's how I think anyway. So yeah, there are pros and cons to it, I suppose. But when it's, and also having children as well, when it's lighter later, the kids don't go to bed when they're younger because they get confused thinking that it's still daytime as well. I know my children have that. What's this? Let's have a look at that. Some workshops, some things. Book of the month. I always like to look at the book of the month. The Art of the Illustrated Book by Julius Bryant. I'm still a bit stuffy from my cold. Like, I had a really bad cold, and it's just lingering. It's just literally just congestion around the nose, but it's just lingering. So, but I can't put off recording videos any longer. Few things there. Add. These are interesting. The prison, the mind. This one is. That's crazy, isn't it? Sometimes I feel like my mind's in a prison, I tell you. The seeds of good ideas. I like this concept. I like the way they've taken that and then formed an art piece around that. It's like, if you didn't put the title there, it's like that game Catchphrase. If you didn't put a title there, it's like a guess the title of this painting. Thoughts and feelings. Oh, understanding NFTs. A gallery's Fraser Scott speaks to Ramsha Vistro, who digs deeper into the world of digital art and raising funds for Ukraine. NFTs are digital items, often images that cannot be exactly copied because they have very complicated codes attached to them. The simplest way to understand them is that they are a solution that can be used by artists, which allow artists to sell works digitally, which people can display on screens in their homes. It's an interesting concept. I like that, explaining NFTs and then relating it to how artists can benefit from NFTs. Exhibitions. Wow, look at this. Tudor Mystery, a master painter revealed. That looks interesting. That's in Warwickshire. Jean Cook, Seascapes and Chalk Caves. Hannah Quinlan and Rosie Hastings, Portraits. Action Gesture Paint, Women Artists and Global Abstraction, 1940 to 70. A Place Called Utopia, Aboriginal Art from Australia. Making a Mark, dazzling drawings from the Cottonian collection. Some interesting shows, actually. It's just a competition. This month's spotlight on Portfolio Plus member. Oh, that's the front cover, isn't it? That we just saw. Look at that colour, amazing. How I Work in the Studio, Nick Alm. This Stockholm-based artist is intrigued by the human form which he paints from his sun-drenched studio in the city. Ramesh Vistro finds out more. Crazy. Painting scenes from... Look at his face. Well, you get back to bloody work. Oh wow, look at this. None of the subjects look very happy though, I must say. How I Make It Work, and Anuga Agarwal, Indian artist Anuga Agarwal, on finding fulfillment with art and letting alcohol inks guide her. Anuja's tips. Give yourself time, practice daily, learn to wear multiple hats. Oh, look, that fish is beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful. Love that. Oh, wow, love that. Anything with a bit of gold in, I love. This is nice. Sam Mars. How I Work, How I Paint. As well as teaching at the Royal Drawing School, Sam Marshall runs printmaking workshops, creates prints and has now written a book, Lino Cut, A Guide to Making Beautiful Prints. I think we've seen some of her work in previous magazines. I think there were some projects in there before that I've saved to try out one day when I actually get a little kit. My intention is to get a kit. I've saved some lino cutting kits on my wish list in Amazon actually that I'm gonna try out when I have more time. Maybe I should do a video on that. I like this one. Look at that. That's crazy. Acrylic on canvas. That is absolutely mad. Look at the detail on the skin and everything. And the nose. Or the mouth, should I say. Or the snout. Whatever you want to call it. And look. That's just absolutely crazy. Let's just see that in... look. Absolutely crazy. And especially as that's been done in acrylics. Amazing. It just goes to show how much you can do with acrylic paint. It's not always all about oils. You can get some good work done. Look at that, amazing work. Wow. Let's just look at that shark one in more detail. Look at that, that's amazing. No one can't tell me nothing about acrylic paint, I tell you. Look at that. The Spanish Family, 1943. Oh, look at that baby. So cute. Painter Alice Neal was most famous for capturing the diversity of the people of New York in portraits that were expressive, intense, and political. Martha Alexander finds out more about an artist who once said people come first, collector of souls. Alice Neal at the age of 29, 1929. Wow, that's going back. I love looking at historical paintings and painters and their stories and, you know, the inspiration behind their artwork at that point. Andy Warhol, 1970. Neil's work is as appealing today possibly because of the honesty. So she painted Andy Warhol. Pregnant Julie and August, 1967. Harold Cruz, 1950. Rita and Hubbard, 1954. Self-portrait, 1980. So she did that when she was an older lady. T.B. Harlem, 1940. Oof. Happened there. In painting women with respect, Neil hoped to give them strength and power, which was so important in those days. Support the union, and obviously people of colour as well. I like the fact that her work features, you know, a lot of diversity. 1910. So Support the Union, she painted that in 1937, but it's based on 1910. Absolutely crazy. 1937, that one is. Such interesting work. Yeah, so that article, this whole article on her work would be quite interesting to read properly. Some sculpting there. Oh, look at that. I love the colours in the background there. Turquoise. And then as it gets closer, the more the detail just really pops out. Donatello was often in debt and didn't suffer fools, yet he had great energy. Inducing abstraction. Let's have a look at that painting in full. Landscape painter and author Mitchell Albala explores the most intriguing aspects of landscape painting, abstraction, in what specific ways we can generate an abstract aesthetic in our own work. Let's just change that back. Where is it? Let's change it back. What makes a painting abstract? Ultra simplification, inducing abstraction, expressive and or textural mark making, colour alteration, envisioning the abstract. Abstract or semi-abstract paintings are never about nouns, the narrative elements that populate our pictures. They are about verbs and adjectives in the form of aesthetics such as colour, light, shape and movement. The initial vision for this painting was a massive rectangular form hovering within an atmospheric veil. This is hinted at in the source image, but to express my vision I would have to exaggerate that effect. Colour choices, a textural surface and an ultra-simplified composition support the abstract. Does that make sense? And an ultra-simplified composition support the abstraction. don't know whether that should be like, oh, I don't know. Ask the expert. Pierce's top tips from Cass Art. Colour mixing is very important even in a digital world. It helps to explore colour mixing and tones to bring depth and life to your work. Carry a sketchbook and small pencil case with you when you travel. Even if you're only going on a beach holiday, you might never know what will inspire you. Keep it simple. In the beginning, don't worry about the details. Use rough sketching lines to get an idea of scale and proportion. All of Cass Art staff are artists and happy to share their expert advice and top tips in store. That's interesting. That's some of his work. What's the story? Art and literature have long been significant influences on another. Here, Martha Alexander explores the best novels about art in fiction. Okay. Some books. Okay, these are quite... I've heard of these books. Not the third one, but The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. She's also written the other popular Dark Academia. What's it called? Can't remember. But she's got another book that's quite popular, Donna Tartt has. So her books are quite... If you don't know about her books... I don't know. I think the Goldfinch is Dark Academia as well. Girl with a Pearl Earring supposed to be quite good. I've heard a lot about that. I dabble a lot in the book community. The Death of Francis Bacon. Not heard of that, but worth checking out. But the first two I've heard of and can say that I've heard good things. I haven't heard of these ones. The Lost Notebook of Edward Manet, a novel. The Flames by Sophie Haydock. And Paul by Daisy Lafarge. I'll definitely check out these. I've actually read this, The Picture of Dorian Gray. If you haven't read this, it's quite an interesting read. I highly recommend. I read it a couple of years ago. And also there's an audio version of it with a BBC broadcast, and it's like you listen to it. I think it's on Audible. Yes, check Audible for a BBC version of it. And it's like a play. It's like listening to a play because it's got different narrators. So if you don't want to read the book, because some people find the actual book a struggle to get through. If you're not used to reading classics, listen to the BBC drama audiobook version, and I'm sure it's on Audible. I listened to it. The only place I listen to audiobooks are Libby. So if it's Libby is the local library app, or Audible. I'm sure it was on Audible, but check Libby if you can't find it there. But I highly recommend the BBC broadcast adaptation or broadcast version of it. Very interesting, and it's very short as well. It's a short listen. Take 2. Anne Devine shows you how she took an old painting she was never sure was complete and reworked it into something she was finally happy with. Anne's materials, brushes, support. Some interesting shapes here that make up the painting. Like if you look at the brush strokes in that as well, the reds, the lilac there, and the greens. They're like squares and triangles, a lot of it. And that could be done with a palette knife actually, rather than a brush. There could be palette knife work there. And that one's nice as well. I like the background. And then she breaks it down here. And if you're interested in saving, say like you wanted to save this tutorial or project, you just click on it and then you click the arrow coming out of the box, and then you can just save it to your device. And it will only save the current page, or if you've got it on double page view, I think it saves the double page. So if this, let's say this is on multiple pages, you'll have to go through and save each page, basically, to your device to keep for the project. Jane French is an accomplished figurative artist and portrait painter. Here she shows you how she painted her friend, paying particular attention to her eyes and glasses. Specs appeal. The drawing stage. Darkest values, dark values, mid-tones. Revisiting Montfort. Matthew James was tasked with repainting a scene painted by a friend's relative over 100 years ago. He shows you how he did it in watercolour and coloured pencil. Oh, that's the original image. Let's see his adaptation of that. Wow. Very close. Love that. So you can see there how he achieved it with the watercolour. Let's just change the view back. I think that is it. Picture this. And that is it for today's video. Thank you for joining me, and make sure that you're subscribed because it really helps my channel grow. And please like this video, or any interaction you can do on my videos really helps, and it also encourages me to keep going with this channel and gives me motivation to make more videos. So, because I do know that when I look at my stats, 97% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. So it'd be great if you could just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and show my channel some love so I can continue with making videos. Many thank yous for joining me, and have a good day. Bye for now.